Karen thought she ruled the neighborhood. She thought the street belonged to her. She thought nobody could touch her. But when she messed with the wrong person, everything she built came crashing down in the most spectacular way possible. Marcus pulled into his driveway after a 12-hour shift at the hospital. His scrubs were wrinkled, his eyes burned from exhaustion, and all he wanted was to collapse on his couch. He had just bought this house 3 months ago. It was a quiet street in a decent neighborhood. The houses were older but well maintained. Trees lined both sides of the road. It seemed perfect. Marcus worked as a nurse in the intensive care unit. His shifts were brutal, but he loved his job. He loved helping people. He never imagined that moving to this neighborhood would become one of the biggest challenges of his life. The trouble started on his second week. He came home one evening to find a note on his windshield. It was written in neat handwriting. The note said his car was parked too close to the edge of the driveway. It said he was blocking the sidewalk. Marcus looked at his car. It was completely on his property. The sidewalk was clear. He crumpled the note and threw it away. He figured it was a mistake. Maybe someone was having a bad day. But the notes kept coming. Every few days, there was another one. Your trash cans are out too early. Your grass is too long. Your car is parked wrong. Marcus could not understand it. He followed every rule. He kept his yard neat. He was quiet. He barely saw his neighbors. Then he met her, Karen. She lived 4 houses down. She was in her mid-50s with short blonde hair and a permanent scowl. She walked her tiny dog every morning and every evening, and she watched everything. One Saturday morning, Marcus was washing his car in the driveway. Karen appeared out of nowhere. She stood at the edge of his property with her dog. She did not say hello. She just stared. Then she pulled out her phone and took pictures. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. He asked her what she was doing. She said she was documenting violations. Marcus asked what violations. She said he would find out soon enough. Then she walked away. A week later, Marcus received a letter. It was from the Homeowners Association. The letter said he had violated multiple community rules. It listed things like improper parking, lawn maintenance issues, and unapproved exterior modifications. Marcus read the letter 3 times. None of it made sense. His lawn was perfect. He had not modified anything. His car was always parked in his driveway. He called the HOA office. The woman on the phone was polite but firm. She said they had received multiple complaints. She said the complaints came from a concerned neighbor. Marcus knew exactly who that neighbor was. He decided to ignore it. He figured if he kept his head down, it would blow over. But it did not blow over. It got worse. Marcus started receiving letters every week. Each one claimed new violations. Each one threatened fines. The fines started at $50. Then they jumped to $100, then $200. Marcus was furious. He had done nothing wrong. He kept detailed records. He took photos of his property every day. He documented everything. But the letters kept coming. Then one morning, Marcus woke up to find his car had been towed. He ran outside in his pajamas. His driveway was empty. There was a note taped to his mailbox. It said his vehicle had been parked illegally. It said it was towed by order of the HOA. Marcus could not believe it. His car had been in his own driveway. He called the towing company. They said the HOA had authorized the tow. They said he had to pay $300 to get his car back. Marcus was shaking with anger. He had to take a ride share to the towing lot. He paid the fee. He got his car back. And then he decided enough was enough. Marcus started digging. He requested copies of all HOA documents. He read through the bylaws. He studied the rules. And he found something interesting. The HOA had very specific guidelines about complaints. Complaints had to be verified by an HOA board member before action could be taken. They had to include photographic evidence. They had to be submitted in writing with a signature. None of the complaints against Marcus met these requirements. In fact, most of them were anonymous. Marcus realized something else. Karen was not just a busybody neighbor. She was on the HOA board. She was the vice president. She had been filing complaints herself and then approving them herself. It was a clear conflict of interest. It was against the HOA bylaws. Marcus gathered all his evidence. He compiled everything into a folder. Photos, letters, receipts, timestamps, everything. Then he did something brilliant. He requested a formal HOA board meeting. He had the right to address the board as a homeowner. The bylaws guaranteed it. The meeting was scheduled for a Thursday evening. Marcus showed up early. He wore a crisp button-down shirt and slacks. He brought his folder. He brought a calm, determined attitude. Karen was there, of course. She sat at the front table with the other board members. She looked smug. She probably thought Marcus was going to beg for mercy. She was wrong. When it was Marcus's turn to speak, he stood up. He calmly laid out everything. He showed the timeline of harassment. He showed the fraudulent complaints. He showed how Karen had violated the bylaws by filing and approving her own complaints. He showed the towing incident. He showed that his car had been on his own property. He presented photo evidence. He presented timestamps. He presented receipts. The room went silent. The other board members looked uncomfortable. Karen's face turned red. She tried to interrupt. She tried to say Marcus was lying, but Marcus kept going. He pulled out the HOA bylaws. He read the sections about conflicts of interest. He read the sections about proper complaint procedures. He read the sections about abuse of power. Then he dropped the bombshell. Marcus had filed a formal complaint against Karen with the HOA management company. He had sent copies to every homeowner in the neighborhood. He had documented everything, and he had consulted with a lawyer. The lawyer confirmed that Karen's actions could be considered harassment. They could be considered abuse of authority. They could open the HOA up to serious legal liability. The board president looked like he wanted to disappear. He stammered an apology. He said they would investigate immediately. He said they took these matters seriously. Karen tried to defend herself. She said she was just enforcing the rules. She said Marcus was being too sensitive. She said he did not belong in this neighborhood. That last comment hung in the air. Everyone heard it. Everyone understood what she meant. The board president cut her off. He said the meeting was adjourned. He said they would be in touch. Marcus walked out of that meeting with his head high. 2 days later, Karen was removed from the HOA board. The decision was unanimous. The other board members had received calls from neighbors. It turned out Marcus was not the only person Karen had targeted. She had harassed at least 6 other families. She had filed fraudulent complaints against all of them. She had abused her position for years. People were just too afraid to speak up. But Marcus had opened the floodgates. Within a week, 3 other families came forward with their own evidence. The HOA management company launched a full investigation. They found that Karen had misused HOA funds. She had authorized unnecessary expenses. She had created fake violations to justify her budget requests. It was worse than anyone had imagined. The HOA board issued a formal apology to Marcus. They refunded all his fines. They reimbursed him for the towing fee. They sent a letter to every homeowner explaining what had happened. They implemented new rules to prevent abuse of power. They created a formal complaint review process. They added oversight to board member actions. Karen tried to save face. She claimed she was the victim. She claimed people were ganging up on her. But nobody was buying it anymore. Her reign of terror was over. Marcus continued to live in his house peacefully. He never received another fraudulent complaint. He became friendly with his neighbors. Many of them thanked him for standing up. They said they wished they had done it sooner. Marcus said he understood their fear. He said sometimes it takes one person to break the cycle. And that is exactly what happened. The neighborhood became a better place. People felt safe in their own homes. They did not have to worry about petty harassment. They did not have to walk on eggshells around one angry person. As for Karen, she kept to herself after that. She still walked her dog, but she did not take pictures anymore. She did not file complaints. She learned that power without accountability always comes crashing down. Marcus's story spread beyond the neighborhood. Local news picked it up. People were inspired by his courage. He showed that standing up to bullies works. He showed that documentation and persistence matter. He showed that one person can make a difference. And he did it all while working 12-hour shifts, saving lives. He did it while exhausted and frustrated. He did it because it was the right thing to do. Sometimes the people who think they own the street learn a hard lesson. They learn that power comes with responsibility. They learn that communities thrive on respect, not fear. They learn that eventually someone will stand up. And when that happens, everything changes. Marcus never wanted to be a hero. He just wanted to come home after work and relax. But sometimes life puts challenges in your path. Sometimes you have to fight for your peace. Sometimes you have to stand up not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you. That is what Marcus did. And that is why his story matters. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more videos like this.